Hello everybody, welcome back to the AdvancedVape channel. I just want to start by apologizing that I haven't been coming out with videos as quickly as I wanted to. I've been really sick in the past few days, so I still sound a little bit sick now. I'm starting to get better, but apologize if I sound sick. But that's why I haven't come out with any videos in the past few days. Also, I wanted to talk really quickly about the giveaway that I said that we were going to do at 1,000 subscribers. So we passed that. I think a couple days ago. So we're going to do another giveaway, and I would like to hear from you guys what you guys want for that giveaway. So we're going to have maybe 5 or 6 winners that are going to win wire, but one person is going to win some kind of tank. So when I originally asked way back, you guys said moonshot. And we can still do that. The moonshot's been out for a while though, so I wanted to give you guys just another chance to update that if you want, or stick with the moonshot. So just let me know in the comments. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Tornado from Ijoy. And this is basically an updated moonshot. It's bigger, has a bigger capacity, and it uses a velocity style deck instead of whatever that was on the moonshot. It's like a 2-post recessed kind of deck. And if you watched my moonshot video, you saw that it's really not easy to build on. It has really good flavor and great performance, but everything else about it is really difficult. Yeah, I don't really like building on it. I like using it, but building on it is another story. And a lot of those design things carried over to the Tornado, because the Tornado basically is the moonshot bigger with the velocity deck. So a lot of the issues that I had with that are still there in the Tornado, but we'll look at that as we get into it a little bit. So here it is. I have the glass taken off right now. As you can see, it's quite a bit bigger than the moonshot. And I don't really have any big complaints with the build quality so far. One thing I will say though, this black version, it's supposed to come with an adapter to use your own drip tip, but it did not. I've heard from a couple people that all of the black ones, for whatever reason, don't have them in there when they're supposed to. So there's no adapter on there for me to use a different drip tip. I don't like that, but whatever. The way that it builds is identical to the moonshot, except that it has a velocity deck. So it has this kind of chimney in the way. And if you watch my moonshot video, you saw that it came with a smaller Allen key, and I didn't really know what it was for. That's what it was for, was to go through the air hole and hold it, kind of pin it down. I think it's kind of a silly design. I don't know why, if this company was trying to improve the moonshot, why they stuck with that. But whatever. So as you can see, it's kind of pinned into place. I can still wiggle it around, but it can't come out. So let's go on and go down a little bit and do a build on it. Today I'm going to be using 26 gauge Tribraid. This is 3mm and 7 wraps. And I'm doing 2 coils. I know in the advertising for the Tornado there was a lot, like it has pictures of 4 coils on here, and then there's another build deck with a little bit higher post with 6 different holes, and it says you can put 6 coils on there. Personally, I think that's kind of gimmicky. I've tried 4 coils on here and I didn't like it. I think 2 coils perform better, they wick better, and I think that would just be magnified with 6 coils on there. So I feel like the diameter would have to be small, and it just feels gimmicky to me. And speaking of that, on the packaging here, 30 to 300 watts, I see that as a gimmick. No one's going to vape this at 300 watts. That's just ridiculous. Most people don't use 200 watts. Most mods don't go to 300 watts. It's just kind of a pointless thing to say, in my opinion. Anyway, let's go on and get this. Like I said, it's 3mm 7 wrap 26 Tribraid stainless steel. We'll go on and get it put in there, And building on this, this part of it is like any velocity style deck, so nothing new there. Loosen up these post holes a little bit. I've been using this Allen key that came with the Griffin 25 for basically everything that I build on right now. I think it's really helpful, so that's the one I've been using. Okay, so we'll try and get it right over that airflow. This thing has a huge build deck, so trying to fit exotic stuff in here, not a problem. I've had aliens on here. I've had huge fuse Claptons on here. I just haven't had any issues fitting stuff. So while I'm doing this, I'll talk real quickly about some other stuff that I've been reviewing. I filmed a review for the Billow. I just haven't had a chance to put it up yet. The Billow V3, I mean. And I've also gotten the TF RTA from Smoke, whatever. I've gotten that, and I've been kind of building on that a little bit. I had the G4 deck, which is 4 coils, and the G2, which is like a velocity. I've been working on both of them, so I'm gonna post a video with that. And I've also got this thing, which is the Heracles RTA 2. I'm excited to talk about that one. And I was also thinking of just making a quick video if you guys wanted this, just sort of a recap of all of this stuff that I've been reviewing, and sort of where I would rank them. You know, what I would say is my favorite RTAs and drippers and stuff right now. Of course, that changes over time. Just, you know, where I stand at this moment, what I use the most. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll make a video out of that. Okay, I think we are ready to go on to dry firing, which on this thing can be a little bit difficult because you have this huge chimney in the way. There's one direction that this has to go in. There's little ribs here and little notches, and these round air hole parts what connects to those little notches. And it sits in there like that. And then that is screwed onto the base. And this is sort of the setup that you have to dry fire it in. So I can't put my jig down in there to wiggle it, or, you know, it's kind of hard for me to squeeze it with this big piece of metal in the way. And it was the same way with the Moonshot. Not really a big fan of that design. I'll take one more vape off my Conqueror and then we'll start the dry firing. So this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to show on camera because there's this metal in the way. But I'm going to do my best. I might have to keep raising it up to actually adjust it, but I'll do my best to get it on camera. I'm going to go on and move the camera up. Okay, I feel like that's looking good. Like I said, it's hard to do something, you know, with big firm wire like this. It's hard to fire that in this chimney, and it's also, I can't just keep on firing it because this chimney will just get so hot. I just touched it with my finger, and it felt like it burnt my finger a little bit, but I mean, I kind of have to just wait and let it chill out for a minute before I even touch it, because it's super hot right now. Not a big fan of that design. So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll take a break for a minute, let it cool down, and we'll come back and do the wicking. Okay guys, so we're back. Let it cool down. I did manage to burn my finger on this chimney thing, so that just kind of reinforces my point. Not a big fan of it. So I'm going to try and avoid using this finger when I'm wicking it because I've got burn stuff on it. But anyway, we have to disassemble it like we did the moonshot to wick it. So now you have to take that chimney off and get your wick put in here, which can be a little bit difficult if you don't have 3 hands to try and hold it while you're doing it. But it's still easier than it is on the moonshot. I'm going to be using cotton bacon. I feel like that's the easiest and works the best for this. Okay, so you'll want to leave the legs really long for this part. I know on other things besides the moonshot I would end up trimming that down right now, but I'm going to wick this in the same way that I did the moonshot, and so you leave them long as they are, and you basically just reinsert it inside the chimney. And then cut at the edges. And I found that this is the way that I did it on the moonshot, and I found that it works just fine for this too. And then it's just a matter of gently lifting it up and tucking each side in its little slot. So you should be able to close it with not really any cotton sticking out. I see that there's just a tiny bit sticking out, but it's still able to close all the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is fluff it up just a little bit now that I have the length right. You want it to be nice and poofy. Okay, so you want to make sure that the cotton is totally blocking all of these holes. You don't want there to be any gaps there, otherwise it's going to leak. Okay, now that I've got it screwed into place, I'm going to prime it just a little bit. And I typically prime until I see that the cotton on the sides is wet. I'll give it a chance to soak in for just a second. Okay, I think we're good to go. One advantage this has over the moonshot is that shorting from putting the top on is really not an issue. As you can see, there's plenty of room down in there. And on the Moonshot, it was, however you built it, it was basically right up next to it. And if it came over the edge just a tiny bit, it would end up touching the chimney and shorting it. Alright, and we're good to go now. It uses a top fill method like the OBS Creus, the OBS Ace. It's just a kind of becoming a popular way to fill it. Not really a big fan of it. It's this side top fill. On this tank in particular, it's this, you kind of like slide it to the side to the unlock setting and pull this whole ring off. And you're left with this little exposed filling area, where normally on other tanks it just kind of pulls up to about here and you can't pull it off, but it doesn't really make a big difference. I'll go in and fill it up. Alright, and now we are ready to go. See, I've got a little bit of leaking there from priming it so much. Going to wipe that off. And we'll go on and crank this up to maybe 65. Try it out there. Alright, let's give it a go. It's going to be barely any smoke while I burn off all the juice that I just primed it with. One thing I'll talk about while I'm burning this off, trying to get it performing how it should be once it's all that priming juice is burned off. There's no juice flow control on this, so when you refill it, you're going to oversaturate the wick a little bit. At least that's how I've experienced it. Maybe if you packed it tight enough, it wouldn't do that, but then if you pack it too tight, it's not going to wick right. So I'm getting quite a bit of spit back here, and part of that is because I'm still burning off the juice that I put on there. And part of that, I think, is just that I wicked it lightly. I turned it up to 68 watts. It doesn't feel hot. It is still spitting quite a bit. It's starting to pick up now. Huge clouds. Less spit back. It's still got that mist thing going on, just like the Moonshot had, or like an RDA would have. Huge clouds and a lot of flavor. I have the air open right now all the way. And honestly, I think this is probably the airiest tank that I own, and probably the airiest anything that I own among tanks and drippers. So it has a ton of air, and you could close it down quite a bit. You're never going to get a restrictive feel off of this unless you have it closed to the point where you're not getting enough air. So it's definitely intended to be a very airy kind of vape, and that's where the clouds come from. But it still produces good flavor for being that airy. I know some tanks, they're so airy and it really kills the flavor, but that's not really the case with this. It has strong flavor even though it has a lot of air, but I tend to prefer not so much air. Overall, I think it's an improvement over the Moonshot as far as building on it and all that kind of stuff. More room to put more complicated builds in there, and it's easier to build on having a velocity style deck than those recess posts of the Moonshot. But they're still, just like the Moonshot, it's difficult to build on. Not my favorite style, and I don't like having the chimney in the way while you're trying to fire it. And I feel that some of the advertising for this was pretty gimmicky. Of course, you can put 4 or 6 coils in there, but I don't know how realistic that is and how well that would really perform wicking and everything. I feel like it would be more difficult to get it working right than what its performance would give you. And vaping up to 300 watts is kind of silly in my opinion that they advertise that. I don't think anybody at all is going to be vaping this at 300 watts. Overall, I am happy with the flavor and performance. It's just those little things that I talked about, and the fact that fresh out of the package, it was missing one of the things that it's supposed to come with, the adapter to use your own drip tip. That just makes it, I don't know. I don't like that. They also came out with their own version of the notch coil, which I have here. They call it the TSS coil. These are the 3.5mm version. And I've tried this. It's okay. Not great. I put 4 of them in there, and I wasn't impressed at all with the performance. I thought basically any dual coil stainless steel is going to beat it. I didn't try the 5mm version, but that's just how I feel about those particular coils that come with this. Or they don't come with it, but they're sold separately. That'll bring us to the end of this video about the Tornado. Overall, good flavor. If you're looking for something that's like the Moonshot that's easier to build on, it's a good choice. But it does have a few issues that I talked about. I apologize again about sounding sick and not releasing videos quickly. I've been really sick these past few days. I do want to hear your comments on the Tornado and your thoughts on the giveaway. And I'll be paying attention to the comments on here. Just if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and I'll be trying to decide and kind of lock in what the giveaway prize will be in the next couple of days, and we'll get the giveaway started. Thank you.